Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another edition of 5 Things That We Learn, the show where I go through all the major talking points of the previous Chelsea game. And unfortunately, it was another defeat for Chelsea, 2-0 loss at Goodison Park to Everton, and the season took another turn for the worse, now languishing in 12th in the table. And as always, there are loads of talking points to get into in this game. So before I dive into it, please make sure you smash a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And the first point I want to make is, and I've made it several times before, but I'm going to make it again so it's crystal clear for everyone. This is far deeper than just a managerial issue. I think yesterday was sort of enough for a lot of people in regards to the manager. And I appreciate, and accept that, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. But ultimately, if you cannot see that this is far deeper than a manager issue, then, your head's in the clouds, basically. Because yes, the manager needs to do better. Yes, he needs to do more. Yes, certain lineups haven't been good. Yes, in-game management's not been good. Yes, yes to all those things. But ultimately, you can put any manager in this situation, and I'll live and die. I'll die by this. You can put any manager into this current situation at Chelsea of this group of players, and they'd hardly be doing any better at all, if any better. It's not like you put a different manager in and suddenly we're going to be sort of a top 5, top 6 team. The reality is, as Poch said after the game, we're a mid-table side, and if you want to be looking at, apportioning blame or whatever you want to do, like, it's a collective responsibility. Owners have made too many changes too quickly. The manager, as I said, has not done enough, not got enough out of this group of players so far, not got his in-game management right on a number of occasions. But I think the biggest culprits right now are the sporting directors for putting the squad together the way that they have and thinking that this was a blueprint to be successful in the Premier League. It absolutely isn't. It absolutely isn't. Money is no longer enough. Spending money is now not enough to compete in this league. You need a soul, you need an identity. We've tried to build something from scratch in the Premier League, which is very, very hard to do. There's a reason why you've not seen this approach before, because it probably doesn't work. Or if it does work, you've got to take a number of years of pain for it to, for you to then see for it to then look like it might start to pay off. We're too far down the road now on this project. We've committed to this project, and we have to deal with it. We have to make sure that somehow we can try and make this work. The manager's got to try and make this work. But it is far deeper than a manager issue, despite the fact that he does desperately need to do better. This is not just a managerial issue; it's a sporting directors issue. It's a squad. It's a squad issue. It's a recruitment issue. It's an ownership issue. It's a culmination of all those things together. But the reason why people call for the manager is because the only thing that they can have any sort of tangible control over, the only thing that can realistically change in the short term, because the owners aren't going anywhere and these players aren't going anywhere. So it's the only thing that people feel they've got an effect over. But if you actually sit back and think about it and actually use their brains and sit and realize that all we're going to be doing is swapping Pochettino's name for a different name, and all the same problems will apply. And then another manager will come and go, and then you can just replace that manager's name with another manager's name, and the same problems will still be there. It doesn't matter who the manager is, it doesn't matter who the players are at Chelsea. There are fundamental issues at this football club that need addressing, and this has been multiple managers and multiple different groups of players, and the same problems are still there. So until we get to the root causation of these issues and address them head on, it doesn't matter how many players we bring in, it doesn't matter what managers we have or how many managers come in. We're not going to move anywhere, because we are not addressing the problem at causation, which are deep-rooted problems at the football club at this point in time. My second point is that yesterday again proved we need more signings. And I know that's going to sound absolutely ridiculous, but we do. We do. I know we signed 12 players in the summer. They cost, almost 400 million. And we've only got 5 wins from the first 16 Premier League matches. It's so clear that right now, these players are not good enough to perform at the level required. We're massively lacking leaders. We're massively lacking quality in general on the pitch. We've got players with a lot of potential that could be good in sort of 12 to 18 months' time, but that doesn't address the here and now. The balance of the squad is completely wrong. Pochettino after the game saying, lack of aggression in this side, lack of goals. Two major issues that have got to be addressed. And, some reports have been saying that he's looking at targeting a defender, a central midfield player, and a striker in the January window. Height is a massive issue. I think it's part of the reason why we've conceded so many goals from set pieces, from crosses into the box. We've got the second smallest squad in the Premier League. We are crying out for a centre forward that is on a top level that can put the ball into the back of the net on a regular basis. We have to do better. We simply have to. And right now, look, people might say, we've got to stop saying, these players are better than where we are. The evidence is clear. 16 Premier League games. These players aren't better than where we are because we've got a big enough sample size of games to show that right now, these guys, this is their level and this is where we're at with this team because that's how good this team right now is. And it is shit. That's the reality of the situation, guys. So we can talk about, yes, these players might be good in a certain amount of time, but that doesn't address the here and now. We can't hide bad results behind, it's a project, we'll be good in a few years' time. That's irrelevant. That might be the case, but that doesn't mean that these results are acceptable now. They absolutely are. We need to find a way to win now. And right now, this squad's not ready to win now, which is why a lot of the blame has to go onto the sporting directors, and which is why yesterday again made it abundantly clear that despite the money we've spent and how many players have come in, we need more players. We need more experience, and not just the experience. We need quality, absolute quality. And I'm not talking about players that might be good in a couple of years' time. We've got more than enough of those. We don't need any more of those. We need players that are going to be coming in right now and make an impact and are good enough to perform at the top level right at this very point in time. So the January window is going to be absolutely crucial because this team needs help. It needs more quality. It needs more experience. And it needs more leadership. And that's going to be a hard thing to address in January. We're going to look like we're not going to make the Champions League again for next season, 2 seasons on the spin. And the sort of players that we need to be targeting are going to be looking at Chelsea and thinking, well, hang on a second, why would I go there? It looks like a second year with no Champions League football. The club looks in a complete mess. Why would quality, experienced players want to come to this club? And that is the problem that we are going to potentially run into if we keep doing as badly as we are doing right now. That's my second point. We need more players, as ridiculous as it sounds. My third point is, and I know it happens to everyone, but this is a ridiculous situation, is the amount of injuries that we are picking up. I just want to bring this up on the screen to show you. Now, it happens to everyone, but there's a fundamental injury issue at Chelsea. At the moment, there's a lot of teams talking about injuries. I just found this little thread here on Twitter. In the 2021 season, we had 55 injuries, the second worst in Europe. The following season, 21-22, we had the worst amount of injuries in Europe, 97. Then 22-23, last season, we had 48 injuries, the worst in the Premier League. This season already alone, we've got 29 injuries. That's 265 injuries in 4.5 seasons of football. We can't be that unlucky. We need to work out why and solve it quickly. When you see the numbers there, it's absolutely incredible what the amount of injuries we're picking up, how regularly we're picking them up, and the severity of the injuries, and how many injuries are reoccurring to the same players. I don't understand what's going on here. And people go, sack the medical department. The owners got rid of the medical department and they bought another medical department. And we need to get rid of them. This is predating multiple medical departments, and the same issues are still there. There is fundamentally an issue with how we are rehabilitating players, with how we're training, potentially with how we're doing sort of strength and conditioning work in the gym. Something is majorly going amiss here. And this is where I cut a bit of slack for the manager. Not once have we been able to field what people would deem to be our strongest 11 this season. You look to the bench yesterday, it's full of academy graduates. Like, we haven't got enough decent options on the bench. We haven't got enough good rotation options available to us because we have constantly got multiple players out, and not just squad players that would go into the first team. We still haven't seen Lavrian and Kunku kick a ball. Chukwuemeka's been out since the second game of the season, started really well. There's no Ben Chilwell. You've still got no Wesley Fofana, who could arguably be a starting centre-back. Reece James cannot stay fit to save his life. Like, this is this is a huge problem. And you just know that more players are going to go down injured. That's just what's going to happen. And right now, it's a huge problem. I don't know what's going on at the club. I don't know whether they're looking into it or not, but all this has got to be looked into because we are in serious problems. And the last time we had a fit squad was what? A fully fit squad. The last time that must have happened, what? Maybe 2 or 3 years ago now. I'm not saying they're going to have a fully fit squad the entire time, but maybe just 1 or 2. But that's that seems like a long way away for us. So this injuries thing we've got to get to the bottom of it. But those numbers are just alarming, absolutely alarming, and it is taking an effect on us. No, I'm sorry, I get all football clubs get injuries, but no teams are having injuries to the extent that we're having them in terms of key personnel, in terms of frequency, and in terms of length of time that players are out for. That is a massive problem that needs addressing. My fourth point, very briefly, is Reece James. What is going on with this guy? We not so long ago was saying this is the best that he's ever felt as he recuperated from that hamstring injury. He played a few games here and there. And now here we are, 3 or 4 games later. The guy still hasn't completed 90 minutes this season. He's the captain when he's barely available, can't stay fit for 3 games. And it's another hamstring injury. Whose bright idea was it to not go for the surgery? Oh, he'd be out for too long. Well, Reece has missed over a season and a half through injury since Porto. If that doesn't tell you there's a fundamental issue, then I don't know what does. It's a massive problem that needs sorting ASAP. It needs sorting ASAP. This one is going for a scan probably Monday morning or Monday afternoon at some point to assess what the damage is. It's not going to be great. We know Reece and his hamstrings are made of glass, basically. We have to have the surgery. I get it, maybe the first or second time not going for it. When it's happening 3, 4, 5, 6 fucking times, go for the surgery. I don't know who's advising him not to do it. Go for the surgery. Take your time out. Take whatever you need to do and get back, because there is no point having a world-class player and a club captain who is not available to play for this football club on a regular basis. It is utterly pointless. And I love Reece James and he's a top player, but you can't influence the team in a positive way if you are constantly injured and not on the football pitch. It's now looking very stupid having Reece James and Ben Chilwell as captain and vice captain when none of them can stay fit for anywhere near a full season, not even fucking half a season. So something needs to change there. Reece needs to get the surgery. We got to get to the bottom of it, because you cannot keep having him get injured as much as is going on right now. And I feel bad criticizing him, but he's turning into Jack Wilshere, someone that looks like his career is going to be hampered by injuries and is never going to reach the potential that he should be reaching. And my fifth and final point on a depressing situation at Chelsea right now is that, unfortunately, the only thing that is going to solve this is patience. And that is something that football fans don't have, particularly Chelsea fans. It's a massive problem. But realistically, the only thing that's going to solve this is patience. The project's not going to change. We're too far down the line now. All these players have come in long contracts. They're not going anywhere. We need to be. We just have to be patient. And the reality is that Chelsea fans don't have any patience whatsoever. So this is going to be a problem. But until people realize, as I said earlier, you can keep changing the manager, do what you want, change the players. The fundamental issues are still there, and they've appeared over multiple managers and multiple different players as well. So unfortunately, yes, it's a call to arms for patience from the fan base, and understand fans are allowed to express their opinions. But the reality is that the only thing that's going to potentially make this any better is time, because no manager is going to make it any different at all. So yeah, we're going to have to be patient, but it is a problem, and it is hard to be patient when you're seeing the shit that we've got going on right now. But what can I say? We just have to be patient and try and ride this out. But I think we knew some hard times were coming, but I don't think any of us thought it would be as bad as it is right now. But the owners are fully committed to this, and they're going to have to accept that there's going to be some short-term pain for some hopeful long-term gain. There's going to be more of this season. There could even be more of it next season. Who knows? But ultimately, we're just going to have to realize that this is the path we've chosen to go down, and constantly changing the manager is not going to make things any better. Anyway, that's just my 5 things we've learned from Chelsea's 2-0 defeat to Everton. Guys, make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Peace out and up the Chelsea.